Hello! If you're new to the AYN Thor or the Android emulation space in general, then while setting up some of the emulators, and you've looked on Reddit and you've looked on YouTube and you've watched all of my videos, like and subscribe, you'll have come across the term turnip drivers. What you won't, however, have come across is someone explaining what the heck they are. So, in its simplest terms, imagine that the CPU or the GPU inside the AYN Thor speaks Chinese, which you'd hope it would. It was made in China. Now you imagine that the emulator speaks a little bit of Chinese, but primarily its language is English. So you have what's called a driver, which acts as a translator. Now the built-in driver, the Qualcomm in this case, the stock driver, it's by the book. It's very, very fluent in its Chinese English translation. So it does the job, it's nice and reliable, but it can't understand the youth of today. It doesn't get the slang, it doesn't know it. This is where turnip drivers come in. Now you imagine turnip drivers, they're the cool teacher. They're going to teach you all the swear words. And unfortunately, we need those swear words to run our games. So I'll finish this tortured analogy, and instead I will show you a visual demonstration of why turnip drivers are important. So one of the big uses of turnip drivers is our switch emulation. So if we go over to Eden, and in Eden, so I'll go back over to these settings. So you can see here in the GPU driver manager, I've got the system GPU driver, the Qualcomm, our corporate overlord, and then I've got Mr. Cool himself, Mr. Purple. He's going to teach us all the swear words. He's going to make our games run fantastic. So as a demonstration why you might need Mr. Turnip's assistance, if I go back to my games list with the stock driver and I boot up Tears of the Kingdom, what you'll see is this. The game boots. It looks okay graphically. Let's start a new game. I'm just going to start. So it's loading. Everything looks pretty normal so far. Try and skip some of these cutscenes because the opening of of Tears of the Kingdom is it's not the quickest, is it? Ah, it's crashed. It seemed to be doing okay. So unfortunately, this is something you might come across a lot with these stock drivers. Games will crash, games won't even boot. Some games will run, but they might be a little bit stuttery, or some of the game geometry will look a bit off. However, we're going to get on the phone. We're going to get our supply teacher, Mr. Purple. So if you're not sure what turnip driver to get, Eden's very good, because if you click this little fetch button, it will recommend the driver that you should be using. So in this case, the recommended driver for the Adreno chipset is the Mr. Purple Turnip. So it's recommending T23. There is T24, which I've got installed. That's the latest version. If you find that the latest version doesn't work, just try the one before it. They are updated semi-regularly, obviously, as they're not perfect by any means, these drivers. They do contain little tweaks for certain games. Sometimes they might perform worse than the stock driver. If, for example, you were to go to a job interview and start swearing, you probably wouldn't get the job. Sometimes it pays to use the stock driver, but if you're having issues, use the turnip driver. So we'll flip over to our good buddy Mr. Turnip, and then Mr. Purple Turnip, and then we'll go back to Tears of the Kingdom. And then what I'll do, I'll just continue from where it left off. We'll load that save. And we'll have a bit of a run round. We'll listen to Zelda's very boring opening monologue. I'll apologise to any huge Zelda fans out there. I'm not the biggest Zelda fan. I like these games. I've never really played the originals. They're good. They have a very rabid fan base. But as you can see for now, the performance is a lot more steady. I've not yet had any crashes. That's not to say I won't experience some later, but already in this very brief overview, you can see the difference. So one final thing before I go, why is it called a turnip driver? It's just a code name, nothing really exciting. Sorry for the flat ending, but yeah, it's just a code name. Don't worry about it. If this video helped you out, I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe. As always, tell your friends, and I'll see you in the next one.